that time of the year again, admissions. And while all the fear, anxiety and nervousness may be the same, the process has changed. Instead of multiple interviews, all symbiosis colleges would now have a common admissions process with the GDs now being replaced by the written ability test. So, what should you expect? What should you do? We, the members of the Aspirant Relations Team at SIBM Pune, set out to ask these questions to the renowned and experienced faculty and the students here. Join us for this series of videos for Admissions 2014.
Today we are here with Professor Manasi Phadke. She's an economist and she's a faculty over here at SIBM Pune. We thank you a lot for being over here with us, ma'am. What is your definition of an ideal MBA candidate and what are the qualities you think that they should be possessing?
Given that the person who walks into the interview has already cleared the SNAP, I think all the interviewers will be fairly comfortable with the level of quantitative skills or even linguistic skills that he or she has. What we would want to know is that given that this candidate is opting for a management education, do you really have the skill to manage a situation, to connect the dots very, very quickly? I think the questions which we ask candidates would be generally playing to his or her strength areas. So we wouldn't generally want them to be uncomfortable about things. But once we ask them a question on their strength area, I think I would look for their ability to connect the dots in whatever it is that they're saying. For example, if somebody tells me that they're fond of music, right? And if I throw them a question, I would want them to kind of give me a very pertinent answer to the field, which firstly tells me that they've spoken the truth, they know what it is about music that they've been talking about. Secondly, do they have the ability, given that a question has come from a field of your liking, do you have the ability to give me an overall perspective about what it is that I'm looking for, right? I think an ideal MBA candidate somewhere should also have terrific communication skills. So even if you don't know the answer, there are ways of saying, I don't know this. Right? So I think I would look for one, either a nice way of saying that I don't know this upfront, or if you mask it, because there are ways in which we can sense that a person doesn't really know the answer but you're masking it, then I would look at the skill of masking, right? So anything is okay. Upfront saying that, well, I'm sorry, I don't know this is fine. Trying to mask it is fine, but I think we look for the art in doing both these things.
Here on until D-Day, how do you think a candidate should be preparing for the interview and the process that is about to follow?
Okay. At one level, it's about content, and I think we can never really forget that 80% of it is going to be content-driven, right? So, suppose, let's take a look at this, that around 80 to 85% of the candidates who get through will be engineers, right? They don't have to go back to their engineering books, but given a situation, I would like them to give me a good brief. They should know about the field from which they are very, very well. They should be well read on other things, for example, stuff about economics or politics or about Arvind Kejriwal or about the corruption issues in India. I think they should have the ability to take a call on situations. So I think very often we'll push them into a corner where I'll ask them, do you really like the Aam Aadmi Party, yes or no? Right? So I think what you have to really work on in the next few days is ask yourself questions when you read any particular thing and see where in the spectrum do you lie. I think that's a great way of preparing for that interview coming up ahead. So you have to read broadly across all areas, and while you are doing that, make sure that you have that ability to take positions. Ask yourself the question, do I like this business or don't I really like this stuff? Why or why not? I think that's a great way to prepare ahead. I also think going ahead somewhere, they have to realize that a lot of it will also be about HR, about their ability to fit into the SIBM culture or SIU culture more broadly. Right? So we are also looking at cultural fits. That involves how they walk, how they talk, how they communicate, humor, everything. So I think they also need to probe into themselves and take a simple question. Tell me about your family background. Right? Now, how can you change this very drab question into something so entertaining that the panelist is not able to ignore your answer, right? So I think if you spend your time preparing on HR and to be a good cultural fit to wherever it is that you're trying to go, I think that would be a great preparation. So content 80%, meaning you read broad and you read narrow, and 20% of HR. I think that's how it should go.